recently discovered that you have autism? There's a lot of talk about whether or not the diagnosis was clinical, or what would you
I
like
want
to
to
say
say
about
this.
that?
First, I want to say it is so wild to see people pick and choose when they want to believe doctors and when they don't. Like, I just think that that's one thing that's
Hmm.
wild. Two, I think that it's a lot of people that do not know anything about autism. I've seen people say things like, "Well, I can't say that I got diagnosed with cancer if a doctor didn't diagnose me for cancer." And it's like, "Well, ma'am, cancer is something that you test for with blood and with actual biological things. Autism is a neurological disorder. It is a different set
To the discovery.
different set of testing, and the testing that is done is incredibly expensive and
What?
often is not even able to be had by adults. The waiting lists are often for years, and especially for Black women, the only studies for autism to at length have really been for young white boys.
Oh
I talked
wow.
about this I talked about this in the interview, and they cut it out of the interview. So the
Oh,
autism, yeah, so the majority of pathology around autism is done on young white boys, and so even girl children don't get properly diagnosed. And many parents have come in my DM saying, "Thank you so much for talking about this, because we have gone through so much struggles to get a diagnosis." And for the most part, the clinical diagnosis is a wide ranging meaning. So clinical doesn't have to simply mean by a physician. It can mean by a psychologist. It can mean by a psychiatrist. It can mean by someone who is an autism expert that has a master's degree, and a different set of testing. And the testing that is done is incredibly expensive and often is not even able to be had by adults. The waiting lists are often for years, and especially for Black women, the only studies for autism to at length have really been for young white boys.
So yeah, so basically, I mean, when she was on the Shannon Sharp show, she was talking about how she's autistic. Her mother was saying that she's very autistic, and they was doing research and saying what are the symptoms of autistic and everything. And she says I don't know, she's well, it looks kind of looks like she diagnosed herself of
Yeah,
having
me too.
autism because she never went to the doctors or whatever she went to. It's like she self-diagnosed herself and everything. And there's really she really not put down no proof on the Shannon Sharp show or any of her social media. It's like she's has a piece of paper that says she's diagnosed with autism and everything. So that's why people was like kind of throwing shade at her because if you're autistic, why you didn't go to the doctor, be, self get clinically diagnosed, you don't have
I,
any papers
I,
or
I,
information.
I agree, Jordan. I feel like if she would have went to a real doctor, they would have diagnosed her with being a victim.
But can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Do she have paperwork information that's saying that she is
We
instead of
don't
dying
know.
with
No,
herself?
no,
We
because she
don't
said
know. She don't
she
show. We
did
don't know.
she
Because
specified. She
this
said
is
the waiting list is long for mostly Black women. She did specify that. But go ahead, lovely.
yeah, but she's like making it seem like this is something like because some people family deal with stuff like that. You know what I mean? This is something not to play with. I don't know if she's trying to get a bunch of likes now, or people be like, oh, whatever. But this is something very serious. And you can't just diagnose yourself, because what if you wasn't, but because you keep speaking over your life, now you what you say you are.
I do agree with that principle. Go ahead, True. Do you have any insight? And also, the Supreme Goddess, do you have any insight as well?
Yes.
The lovely PhD was.
No, it's
Richmond
Supreme
Heights.
Goddess over here.
Uh,
I still give her her name. Still got it.
Go ahead, Trip. You there?
I think True sleep with the phone on his stomach.
Possibly.
Baltimore blocks.
Hey, PhD, well, you there? What's your take on it?
What's going on with everybody? Everybody, hello,
Yeah,
hello.
like she got me hyped now. Now she ain't saying nothing.
No,
Like, is
she
she
probably
scary or something
no,
like that?
she probably at work. Most of these people be at work, like they get ready
Okay.
to leave work. But even though I still love it, they still grace us with their presence. I just would love their insight on it. We got to understand, so Hakeem. Sometimes they go to They support other channels, so I get it. That's why I
I
say I
see
don't.
that. I see that.
That was say when you gracious with the presence, it's gonna be
Yeah,
greatly appreciated. You
because
know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
shocked to see her because I see her
Yeah, you
on
told her she
everybody.
dropped out. She more like she
Ooh,
probably logging off of work.
hmm.
But Truth, I don't know if
But
Truth is there. Big Birds here.
Big brr.
Where you come up with that name? Where you get that name from?
You know, I'm from Memphis, home of Pooh Shiesty, sir.
where's
Yeah,
it? Big
Okay, can
brr.
y'all hear me now?
I'm
Yes,
here,
Yeah,
bro.
I
yes,
Can
can
y'all
hear you
hear
now.
me?
Okay, because I was talking, but
Can
y'all
y'all
couldn't
hear
hear
me?
me. Okay,
yeah. We can hear both.
so
Yeah, we can hear both of y'all. Yes. Go ahead,
Okay.
P. Go ahead, P.
so first, okay, so she what she was referring to with when she was saying like you can't get it diagnosed through blood or whatever is that autism is a subjective diagnosis, right? And so that means you go and you talk to a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and based on the questions they ask you about your history, your medical history and whatnot, they may or may not come to the conclusion that you are on the spectrum, because autism is a spectrum, right? So it could be real mild or it could be very severe. So now it's less subjective when it's on the severe side of the scale, right? So I have a friend whose son is 9 years old. He still can't talk. So they know that he got autism. So, but now, as far as all of the testing and whatnot, and this wait list for years, no, no, right?
So she was
Because you,
capping.
right, you can talk to your primary care physician about it, right? And they can walk you through the history, and if they feel like they could probably certainly rule you out or screen you out, and if they think it's questionable, then refer you to someone else. But no, as far as them like having difficulty diagnosing anybody who's not like a white boy or a white male, no. I used to actually work with autistic children, and there were black girls and black little boys in there with autism also. Now it is most prevalent among whites and males, right? So when I saw the little black girl, I was kind of like, huh? But it's actually become more prevalent amongst black little girls. You're seeing it more and more. And so then that was also a questionable statement that she made. And so somebody just said she was capping. Yes, she was capping, because even when she was on Shannon's show and he was trying to get her to say that it was a clinical diagnosis, that a doctor had actually diagnosed her with
Hmm.
autism, and she was like dancing all around it. Oh yes, there's a diagnosis. Okay, but were you diagnosed, right? Um, and so I think she self-diagnosed, and look, you could Google anything. The problem, one of the things doctors will tell you is they hate when like news programs or some type of program does a show on an illness, because they get a lot more people coming in saying, hey, I think I have this, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's called the law of exposure. And so simply by seeing it, we start trying to diagnose ourselves with it, or we start trying to see how we, measure up, or, what if we have it or whatnot. And so I don't know. I just feel like it's questionable all the way around. And I just feel like Amanda is always attention
A quack.
seeking. So
I want to
I
ask you a question, PhD. As a
go ahead.
person who's worked with autism kids, did you find it offensive that she even mentioned that, knowing that she's never worked in the field, never studied it, never interacted with kids? With you know what I mean? Like, because I deem things like that offensive when we all know personal people who's going through that. Now people have lost relationships, marriages behind this, and these kids are being raised for her to say, "I think I'm this." That's not nothing to play. So I was wondering, when you heard her say that, how did you feel? Did you find that? Did you thought that was offensive?
So okay, so first off, full disclosure, I worked with autistic children for like a few weeks. They did where you come, you work for a few weeks, and then
Yeah.
they extend you a permanent offer. And after those couple weeks, I was like, hell no, I'm going to graduate school. Uh,
I love the honesty. Love the honesty though. That's real. That's real.
right. But so maybe not so much offended, but I do think it was very irresponsible to put that type of
Mm.
information out there. Right. And so it's her saying that could dissuade people or discourage people from going to their doctor and trying to get that clinical diagnosis, right? And thinking, oh, well, let me just Google it myself and see if I fit the criteria.
Mm.
But PAD with me personally, don't women already do that? They Google some shit. Oh, my boyfriend a narcissist.
That's totally
People
different.
do that, yes, already. People do that.
That's
But
that's different. But go
but
ahead,
look
Truth
at this.
Never Favorite.
Oh yeah, go
Let
ahead.
Priya
My
go
bad.
first, and then you can counterattack. I can't. Go ahead, Truth.
Baltimore blocks.
You muted again. Truth. Oh,
Yeah. Hey, truth. If you can't hear us, man, if you can't, we can't hear you. Just drop off and come
Hey,
back
what's
on. Go
good,
ahead. I
bro?
can't.
oh, then
Can
Oh,
you
now we
hear me
good.
there
now?
Now
you
we
go.
good. Yeah, now
There
we
you
Yeah.
can.
go. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
perfect.
truth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, man, she got what she wanted, bro. This started a while ago. Her, talking about, the reason why she not getting the type of adoration for her acting career and all this bull crap was, race related. And now she got this all this attention, and everybody's got her on the shows and talking about this bull crap. And then now it's this new thing about she has autism, but it's self-reported, and then all this other goofy stuff. Like I said, the number one currency to a female, especially this type of female, is attention, and everybody's giving it to her. So she's getting exactly what she wants. She's going to keep pushing this bullshit. And it is sad because just like when it comes to real race relations, people that are suffer from mental health and autism is people out there that really have these things that have been misdiagnosed, have been mistreated, have been villainized, have been bullied. When people don't even understand, what autism actually is, we already know someone's child in this space was disrespected uh, for having this very same thing. And what people don't understand, this has nothing to do with the R word. Autism is actually means a person is actually gifted. They just have a problem with stimulation and adjusting to certain stimuli that's in their environments that they have a hard time like regularly how we process things, they it's heightened for them. Some of the greatest people and greatest minds to our world, if y'all look it up, have autism. You know what I'm saying? I will also work in the mental health field. I'm a CMT, and I work with people with autism as well as explosive disorders. They have BPs and everything. So it's very difficult when you see people use this for their own, I guess you would say their own monopoly, trying to build currency off of it, and so on and so forth, because it's an actual real thing, and for me, it's disgusting. That's all I'm saying. But what we doing is giving her what she wants, and she's going to keep pushing her bullshit flat out. She goofy.
I want to ask the ladies something, and this is a question I want to pose. Do you think that she was able to say this because women have the grace to speak and